What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we have got some gigantic news for the One Piece TCG. We've had the ban list come down. There are 3 new cards that have been banned, bearing in mind going into this weekend we only had 2 cards banned so far that were still actually on the ban list. We got 3 new cards being banned, and let's start off with the big news. Sakazuki is banned. And this is kind of surprising to me and kind of not. You see, the other day I told you the ban list was coming down this weekend, and I told you that I didn't believe that the 10-drop Big Mum was going to be banned. I told you that that only really worked in Katakuri because you had to have a Big Mum leader, and I told you that that deck was frankly not doing well enough to warrant getting a ban, and I showed you the metagame as it was going into Worlds, and in the OPO5 metagame, very simply, not good enough, frankly. 10% of the meta. You don't ban a card or restrict a card because it's the best card in a deck which is 10% of the meta. You don't do it. I did tell you, however, that Sakazuki was oppressively good and that I expected something to be banned. I suggested they might go after the combination of Hina, Rob Lucci, and Rebecca. Now, if you play the game, this is a combination with which you will be extremely familiar. Because, of course, we've got Rebecca from OPO5, and when you play that, you get to put a 3 to 7 cost card from your trash into your hand, a black character other than Rebecca. And then you get to play a 3 cost or lower black character for free when you play Rebecca as well as a recovery. And generally you go for Hina, that gives one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during the turn. And then you go and play your Rob Lucci that puts 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. And then you KO a 2 cost or less and a 1 cost or less of your opponent. But obviously, you know, you've already used Hina, you've probably used some other stuff. It's not really a 2 cost or lower and a 1 cost or lower. It's much better than that. And Rebecca gets either Hina or Rob Lucci back, whichever one you don't have, plays Hina for free, then you play Rob Lucci. It is a very, very powerful combination. But no, they just went and banned Sakazuki. Now, they are actually giving us a replacement Sakazuki. We'll get to that in a moment. I've done the translation, we're good. But for the time being, this Sakazuki is banned. We, of course, have seen cards come off the ban list in the past. You know, Whitebeard was banned and then unbanned later on. So maybe that could happen. However, they have banned this and they're like immediately replacing it with a new blue-black Sakazuki, same card, different skill. That to me suggests that they are not going to be taking this off the ban list anytime soon. Of course, Sakazuki has 2 skills. Activate main once per turn, trash a card from your hand to draw a card, and when attacking, you give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. Now, those skills are clearly very, very good. Being able to draw extra cards is awesome. Being able to trash cards from your hand is not actually terrible. Stuff like Rob Lucci, you need to have cards in your trash to use. And then, of course, just a free -1 cost is awesome, especially when you're playing stuff like Rob Lucci. And then, of course, like everyone is playing Borsalino, as they should be, incidentally. Borsalino is redonk. But Borsalino is the one whereby it's a 7 cost, and you get a character of a cost of 4 or less and put it to the bottom of its owner's deck. But of course, with stuff like Rob Lucci and Hina, etc., what you're actually doing is grabbing a much more expensive character and putting that back. Okay, so the -1 cost was good, the draw was good. I have said one of my more controversial One Piece opinions is that Sakazuki's power is not just the skills, although the skills are good, it's because it's a blue-black leader. And the combination of black that can lower all this power and do the removal, along with blue that also has quite a lot of removal, the combination of those two together is what really pushes Sakazuki to be a top-tier leader. And frankly, we're about to find out. Because there is a new Sakazuki leader coming. It is a proper numbered promo. It's being distributed. I mean, they haven't actually told us how it's being distributed in Japan. They've gone and done that vague, generic, yeah, you'll get it at some point. The exact phrase is, will be distributed at future tournaments and events. Please wait for further information. So we know there is a new Sakazuki coming. We don't know when or exactly how, but it's going to be given away at tournaments. It's probably going to be very readily available. And stats-wise, it is the same as the Sakazuki to which we're saying goodbye. It is a blue and black leader, 4 life as we would expect from a dual colour leader, and 5,000 power, which the vast majority of leaders have. Although, yes, there are, of course, a couple of exceptions. There's exceptions to everything. The difference is they have well and truly nerfed the abilities here. Like, they have completely, unashamedly gone, look, you can keep Sakazuki, but we are nerfing. It's one of the biggest nerfs you'll ever see. The new skill says, activate main once per turn. You may trash a Navy type card from your hand and then reduce the cost of one of your opponent's characters by 1. Now, bearing in mind last time you could just reduce the power by 1 when you attacked, now you've got to trash a Navy card from your hand, which is awkward, and you don't get the draw power anymore. That is a gigantic difference. Like a truly gigantic difference. It is a huge nerf. But you still have blue-black Sakazuki. The whole Rob Lucci Hina Rebecca combo is still going. And sure, you're not drawing extra cards every turn, so it is going to be slightly harder to get it rolling, admittedly. But make no mistake about it, you were playing predominantly Navy cards anyway, so you should still be able to get the -1 cost reduction. Essentially now, you're trashing a card from your hand every turn like you used to, but it's got to be a Navy now, whereas it didn't have to be a Navy. And you're not drawing an extra card. And losing that card draw is big, don't get me wrong. But I still think Sakazuki, I'm not saying it's going to be amazing, I still think it's got a really big chance. It is one whole heck of a big nerf, but you've still got the amazing colour combination, which was always, in my opinion at least, one of the best things about Sakazuki. Now, that is not the only card that has been banned, though it is by far the biggest. They've also gone and banned Great Eruption. Now, this is a 1-cost card that draws 1, and then you give one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during the turn. Or as a trigger, it's a little bit of hand disruption. Your opponent has to trash a card from their hand. And again, they've gone after draw here. Now, this is obviously an absolute staple in Sakazuki decks. If you're playing Sakazuki, you're playing this card. This is a great card. And the -2 cost is big, but do remember, like, the minus cost is all over in black decks at the moment. It's not like we've never seen that before. And you get to draw. And they've hit the leader by essentially getting rid of the draw skill. Like I said, it's not quite that simple, but the headline is you've lost the draw skill. Now they've gotten rid of Great Eruption, and according to LimitlessTCG.com, a full play set of 4 Great Eruption was played in 99.31% of Sakazuki decks that did well in recent tournaments in the OPO5 meta. So yeah, this was a 4-of staple in Sakazuki. And getting rid of this, and getting rid of the draw on the leader, now we're kind of getting somewhere. I am not saying this is going to destroy Sakazuki. I still think it's going to be a good deck. But I absolutely do think that getting rid of your event card that was played as a 4-of and helped you draw, and getting rid of the draw ability on your leader, that is a very, very big deal indeed. Now, when I showed you the other day, Sakazuki was 47% of the meta. Overwhelmingly the best deck. Also, it took 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Worlds, I believe 4th as well, this weekend. So, when I told you that Sakazuki was oppressively the best deck in the OPO5 meta, I really meant that sincerely. It was the full top 4 of the European finals that I casted, and then Worlds this weekend. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen, it was huge. But the number 2 deck is Enel, and they've actually gone and banned a card from Enel that we don't have yet. OPO6 116, he gone. Now this is Impact, and what it does is you get to choose one of the following things. Either KO one of your opponent's 5-cost or lower characters, but also if your opponent has 1 life, you deal 1 damage to them, and then add the top card of your life to your hand. Basically, you both lose a life, but they don't get the card to their hand, you do get the card to your hand, and yeah. Apparently in OPO6, this makes Enel a little bit too good. And I'm not saying it doesn't, honestly. I think this is another one of those situations where this is a very, very good card. And it's like, Anel is a great deck. And this is clearly for Anel, let's be clear. Anel is a great deck. And this is a great card. And it just gives Anel that extra little bit. That extra little bit of help that pushes it into kind of unfair territory. So what you do is you get rid of this card, and these are all banned, incidentally, not restricted, they gone. And by getting rid of these, it's just taking that deck and making it a little bit more manageable. Also, apologies, I called it Impact a minute ago. It's clearly Reject. We've actually got an English scan of the card. Has been revealed in English. So, yeah. This is a very, 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 very nice card. There's a reason why it got banned. Anel is a good deck in OP05 without this. It's going to survive again. Other yellow cards will survive. The big news here is that they've just literally gone, yes, Sakazuki banned. That is a very, very, very big deal. New Sakazuki, I still think it's going to be good. And like I say, it is one of the biggest nerfs you're ever going to see. I'm not sure it makes the deck unplayable. That's just me. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Sakazuki being banned? Do you think it was necessary, or could they have got rid of some other cards instead? What do you think about Great Eruption and Reject being banned? Do you think those cards needed to go, or could we have done something else instead? Let me know in the comment section. Get us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.